Well, no progress yet in Republican efforts, apparently, to restart talks on repealing and replacing Obamacare. This is House Freedom Caucus Chairman Mark Meadows last night as he left that long meeting with administration officials, conservatives, and yes, even moderates.
I want to make sure I'm clear. There were no agreements tonight, and no agreements in principle, and certainly no agreements in terms of a foundation. There was a general agreement that the progress that we're making is certainly progress, and there are good discussions, but understanding that there's a whole lot of things that we have to work out in terms of differences that still have to be worked out.
My next guest tonight says health care negotiations are at a standstill, largely because Republican moderates are rejecting the latest Trump White House proposals. Joining us tonight, Congressman Jim Jordon, member of the Freedom Caucus, serving in both the Judiciary and Oversight Committees. Congressman, I heard a number of folks say last night coming out of that meeting and today that they felt better about things, that there was optimism.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything about another meeting. I haven't heard any specifics. So where are we?
Well, we're still talking. Look, our job is to do what we told the American people we're going to do, and that's to get rid of this law that's been just, not good for the country, not good for prices, not good for health care, all the things we were told about Obamacare that turned out not to be accurate. So our job is to keep our word to the American people, get rid of this law, and bring down premiums, and that's what we're focused on doing. We're still talking with folks. We're still negotiating. We're still trying to get there. The latest proposal from the White House was, can we give states the option to get out of some of these regulations that are driving up costs? We're looking at that. We want to see the text. We think there may be some potential there, but we want to see the language. And we're continuing to talk about that and a few other things that we think will begin to bring down the cost of premiums, bring back affordable insurance, which is, obviously important to every single family across this country.
Yeah, the role of insurance companies in this is not significantly enough changed by what I have heard of various proposals to suit many people. I do want to compliment you and the Freedom Caucus. Apparently right now the Tuesday group are the bad guys and seem to have drawn most of the fire from folks at the meeting.
Well, I mean, look, Lou, I've said this all along. Tweets and statements and blame don't change facts. The facts are this legislation is not where it needs to be. We continue to work to try to get it there. I think lots of members in the Republican conference are focused on doing that. Let's get it to the place that's consistent with what the American people elected us to do in 10, 14, and, of course, on November 8th, 2016. That's our commitment. Let's stay after it. Let's get the job right. And here's why this is also important, Lou. We got a lot of big issues coming in the next 7 months. Yeah. We got a continuing resolution. We got a budget. We got a tax reform. We got the appropriations process. We got an infrastructure project, a bill that's going to happen. We got a debt ceiling vote. All these things are coming. We better get the template right. We better get the process right now if we're going to deliver on all those things that the American people sent us here to deliver on. So my attitude is let's do whatever it takes to get the job done right now, and then use that template for how we arrive at a good decision and a good piece of legislation. Use that throughout this spring and summer so we can deliver for the American people.
Are you having nightmares about the possibility, because you just used the word continuing resolution, that controlling the Senate and the House, rules of regular order, hearings, control of the United States government, that you guys could be having budget fights and debt ceiling fights and screw up what effectively is one of the best opportunities the Republican Party has seen in certainly decades?
Yeah, that's why we got to get the process right now and make sure we have plenty of time to tell the American people, here's what's in this legislation, so they'll embrace it. Look, when you have a bill like this health care bill, where only 17% of the population thinks it's appropriate, thinks it's the kind of legislation that should pass, maybe we didn't quite get the process right, and we should go back and make sure we do get it right, especially as we move into the very issues you're talking about, a CR, a budget, a tax reform proposal, all those important issues. Let's get it done right. Let's get it done right here from the start so we have, as I like to say, the template for how we're going to proceed with these other big issues in the very near future.
Well, this sure as heck isn't the template for you to proceed or your party. Paul Ryan, I don't know how, and I'm not going to get into Paul Ryan's leadership or lack of leadership, but today he did say that he thought it would be months before anything could be done of significance on repealing and replacing ObamaCare, whatever that means, the new legislation.
Well,
can you really wait that long?
No, I hope not. I hope we can do something sooner rather than later. But I hope it's the right thing, and that's been our commitment from the get-go. Yep. Let's do something that's consistent with what the voters elected us to do. Let's do something that's going to bring down their premiums. That has been our sole focus throughout this process. It continues to be our focus. I am optimistic. Look, we're Americans. You can't help but be optimistic. So even in spite of the way this town typically works, I'm optimistic that we can get the job done, and that's our commitment, and that's our focus.